record, which
Recording
I
in
literally
progress.
always forget, but now I'm recording. Okay.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm a
Hi,
huge nerd.
Michael.
I record in like three separate places whenever I go live, just because I have to have copies.
Yeah, it's smart to do that. So hi, everybody. Welcome to our first event of the free preview week of the Traveling Therapist membership. Right after this, I'm going to be dropping the link so you can come join the membership. I'm so excited, you guys. Michael is just one of the people that's going to be frequenting the membership. So I thought, of course, it would be great to have him in here today to do like a free preview of the type of content he's going to bring you guys in the membership over. I think we've got something for like the next year, pretty much, Michael, that we've talked about, right? So I'm excited, guys. At the end, I'll drop the link to welcome you into the membership. But before that, I'd love for Michael to tell you about himself, and then you could take it away. You can let them know everything about branding your travel photographs and how to do that.
Yeah, for sure. So what, because we're sitting here on Zoom and I know we're broadcasting it out to Facebook. When I'm talking, I'm everybody, I'm the whole screen, right? Like, do you have it set for dynamic switching?
Let me put it to just speaker. Is that
okay,
how
cool.
I should do it? Okay. See, Michael is also my tech advisor, you guys. I'll text
no,
him.
you're the expert in
my
this
camera
space.
blurry?
You're the expert.
Okay. All right.
Cool. Yeah.
I think
so my name is Michael Kent. My wife and I are here in beautiful northern Michigan. And if you are not from the Midwest, those words beautiful in Michigan might not necessarily correlate, but we live on some of the longest freshwater coastlines in the world. And I can see one of them right from my studio window here. Beautiful space. And we have a very, very fast and busy photography business up here. And I have my wife and I both have this weird background where we are collectively, or we're both like just the dork who grew up like with a crappy point and shoot camera, just being the guy who was taking pictures of their friends. And then that somehow evolved and we maybe manifested that into a fully fleshed out career. But I have never lost that part of me that wants to always carry a camera. And this is actually a recreation of that first camera. I hunted it down on eBay a couple months ago. This is essentially was my first ever camera. And then, we've gone full circle to big boys and then settled on a small for me, pocket-ish camera that I can carry everywhere, which is essentially what our topic is today. Like, just carry a camera. Carry a camera everywhere we go, take pictures. Okay, I'm out. That's it. That's the whole idea. Bye.
No, we're already getting questions in the comments, Michael. Somebody says my number one question is what webcam does Michael use because the video looks so good.
Why is it everywhere I go? I mean, not why is it? I know it looks this good. So as an early plug, this is the program that I'm building, which is how to help people create a system like this. So somebody like you, Kim, who is trying to sell a message, tell a story online, create engaging content. Yeah, it makes sense to have like really good images, and my audio also sounds really nice. That's because in my case, I have a $7,000 camera set up for a webcam. That's not what everybody needs to do, but there are processes by which you can use like really, really nice high-end cameras as webcams. We can go into that later. We can dig into that in one of the segments. We haven't really talked about doing that. But I know, Kim, you and I have talked about doing something for you so as to upgrade your streaming setup while you're on the road. And I would not be surprised if people in your community would also be interested. Trying not to be completely self-serving, but that is something that I can help people with.
It's perfect. And maybe this is a good way to segue into what we have planned for the whole membership community.
For sure.
If you want to talk about that, because like I said at the beginning, Michael and I have talked about, we want to do a series because I know the travel and the photography and the recording piece is so important to all of us in our careers, if you have a side hustle or a therapist. So we came up with some really good concepts that we're going to spread out over the next year pretty much. So do you want to share about that, Michael, before we get into the training for today?
We've got about 5 different modules kind of sussed out so far. And we're completely open to the idea that this needs to grow. I can't believe that number 2 on here isn't how you should use that same camera to set up, a nice streaming setup wherever you're traveling. But I didn't, especially since, that's my other project. My other business is we call Help Desk Studio. It's a program designed, as I said, to help people who are telling a story, pitching themselves online to look and sound just a little bit better. But the stuff that we have lined up so far today is just a basic overview of why you should take more photos and why you should be using them, and specifically your unique travel story to sell your brand, to create content. Next up, I'm not going to say that these are necessarily in order, but these are some of the ideas that we're playing with. Using your photos to create a cohesive visual brand. And that is diving a little bit more into what you shoot and how you shoot it and how you post it in order to look at your brand holistically, whether it's color, shape, texture, and really lining up. We've all seen someone's Instagram grid that just looks like really, really, really on point. They feel a little bit more polished, a little more put together. So we'll look into ways that we can handle that. Next would be editing your photos with consistency. This is something that to non-photographers can feel very daunting, and it is not. There's a lot of very simple ways that you can take those photos that come right off of your phone, your camera, your 1993 disposable camera, and you can turn those into something just a little bit more crisp, a little bit more on brand. After that, video as impact and performance, or video as impact and presence. So I guess this is maybe where we were putting this in here.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily see it as that, but yeah, we're going to call this that one. So cameras, especially if you select the right camera, have the ability to swap between video and still. And so how can we use video both of the beautiful areas that we're traveling to, but also explicitly videos of us kind of sharing our story, our mission, kind of what we're trying to put out there on the internet, and do it in a cohesive, you're going to hear these words a lot, cohesive visual brand that kind of tie everything together. And finally, how and why to build a platform. This is, where these things should live, how you should use photos to tie everything together. And as I said, if we see a lot of demand for different requests, different niche things that I don't know impact your community, then we'll append these, modify them, change them as we see fit. Any questions on that? Any thoughts, Kim?
Nope. Well, I don't think we have any questions. People are having a hard time finding our live, so I'm dropping the links over in the event. Yep. Yeah. So I hope you guys have found us now, but if not, the replay will be available. So I think that's perfect. I'm so excited to suss out the series. In fact, after this, I'm going to drop a feedback form for you guys because I want to hear your ideas so I can pass it on to Michael, and I'll drop that in the live comments after this. And hopefully you'll take the time to fill it out real quick and let us know what you want to hear from him in the membership down the road. So cool. Thanks, Michael. Yeah. So
do you want me to just dive in a little bit more, or what do you want to talk about? Anything else first?
Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see what other questions. Somebody said I need to upgrade too. Like, I know I totally need to upgrade. I need a better setup. I need to look like you look pretty much with these things. So I want to know more about that. And then Robin's saying, can you talk about using your photos on your website rather than on social media? So maybe in your talk, you could talk about that too to help Robin.
And I'm about to do this where we are literally going to go to my website because I am a bit of I benefit from social media, but if I'm being honest, I don't really have the thing in me that loves to just scroll on Instagram. So instead, my work oftentimes lives on my website. This right here is my, professional photography site. And so part of what I wanted to show was when we're scrolling through here, this is a cute picture of my wife and I. Obviously, I didn't take this. I'm in that photo. But the third photo on my website is a photo from a hike that I took with my son, who was 6 months old at the time. And I have actually sold this photo to our local Chamber of Commerce for marketing the city. So I make money off of my travel photos, my just random snaps. We have cherry blossoms in the area, kind of similar to you would see in like Japan, and they're a huge deal up here. Beautiful little white flowers. And I went out for a photo shoot last night. On the way out, on the way back, sun was setting right through the cherry orchards. I had a very nice camera on me. Did I stop and take a picture of it? Of course I did. Like that's part of what I do. So part of my thesis today, my beg of you, is to just get in that habit. Whether or not you love photography or you just see the value in having photos that you don't realize can live in your life around you, you're just going to either need to learn to be a photographer or just at least, come to terms with the fact that you need this stuff in your life. And yes, social media maybe is not for everybody, but I also run a photography education community. And these are graphics that I frequently will put together for for our community. And a lot of these are just pictures that I take around. This is the, back here. This is the Fuji X100F camera that I carry everywhere. Most of those pictures that you saw on the social media page and on my personal page, or social media page and on my website are just shot with this. This is not what I take out for my professional work, but you don't need crazy professional equipment. Like if you've got a nice phone, doesn't have to be an iPhone, but if you've got a nice phone, just get in the habit of carrying it everywhere and be ready to document those little things that might catch your attention. Something that the way that I train myself is I just give myself over to like reckless abandon. And if I see things that are interesting or beautiful, or the way the light hits something, actually the ridiculous example is both this one. I just liked the way the light was kind of pouring through here. So I just shot my hand into it. And also, this is just my son's, when he was like 3 months old. This is his rubber spoon. And I liked the way it got placed there. So I just took a picture of it. Is it an award-winning photo? No, but it was content. I threw it up and I got, a decent number of likes on it. And that's something that I wouldn't have gotten if I had second guessed myself and just decided not to jump into that.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. And, it's reminding me to keep my eye open for just the little things around me that are really unique and interesting in all these locations I'm in. I'm always like, sort of like, I've got to pose and be like this, but just seeing that, it's like, yeah, that's a really cool picture. And it really represents you, right? Because it's like, oh, that's like a baby spoon. Didn't he have a baby? So it kind of tells a story about your brand, which I really like. Yeah.
It also ties into like, I'm well known in my community as a light geek. So there are aspects of my work that which one was it? Hold on. Go back here. The blinds that are shooting through here, these like the Venetian blinds with those stripes of light, you might not see that and care about it, but that is something that is very much tied to my brand. So if you're not a photographer, what does that look like tying something back to your brand? Maybe you are well known for really bright, bold colors. So when you're walking through, let's say it's the middle of the winter and you've decided to go someplace south and you've decided to go someplace beautiful and warm, and your friends and peers are back where I am up in 20-degree northern Michigan, those just simple photos of palm trees, or the way the light is hitting on the bright colors of like Miami or something like that, those are the things that I get excited about when I travel in my winter season. That might tie back to your brand, or it could just be you train yourself to notice. I had a buddy who was a photographer and was in a rut, and for 6 months he just photographed doors. Just everywhere he went, he just would just pay attention to doors and just see if you could find something interesting about those doors. Well, it's a very mundane topic, but then he went through like Paris and Venice, and having the mundane doors of Michigan tied to the 600-year-old monastery doors in some like Parisian church is an interesting contrast. That was his brand. That ties back to him. Now, obviously, as photographers, we're talking very esoteric here. You don't have to just go photograph doors, but you could find something. Maybe you just love trees, or maybe you love birds and you just want to make sure that you're just constantly photographing those things. Having that ritualistic practice in your life as you're traveling, I swear to you, will help you feel more connected with your memories. I actually wasn't going to talk about this, but I want to show something else.
Yeah, and I like that because it's like, okay, now you've become known as the person that takes pictures of umbrellas in all these cool places. And you know that people know that you love an umbrella,
Yeah.
you know, and it makes people, it grows that know, like, trust factor, whether it's clients wanting to work with you or whatever. If you have a consistent brand like that, it's like I take pictures of umbrellas everywhere I go. People are gonna like that about you. They're gonna like to know that about you and see it consistently, I think is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Mhm.
argue, don't try not to make an affectation, right? Like, don't fake it.
Yeah.
Don't just be
Yes.
like, I'm the guy that loves geckos and then just take pictures of geckos. If you don't love
Yeah.
geckos, don't take a picture of a gecko. I mean, take it, that's fine. But
Yeah.
like, reach inside and find something that you actually care about. And part of what is exciting, but also nerve-wracking, I think, for some people, and especially the social media space, is
Mhm.
that you can be vulnerable. You can find that thing. I mean, umbrellas and geckos are not things that are going to be necessarily vulnerable, but pardon me,
Yeah.
you might find that by sharing something that you love, you might find yourself telling stories, and it might bring out some trauma. It might bring out some past stories that you didn't necessarily think you'd be sharing online. And I've seen some
Mhm.
very beautiful images paired with some very sad stories on social media and in the photography
Yeah.
circles. And I'm not telling you to get vulnerable like that, but there's a reason that people find social media daunting.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah.
I was going
So
to
we've
say real
got,
quick before
oh, go
I'm
ahead.
going to jump
Mhm.
into one more thing, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
This is my other, like, this is something I don't plug. This is my personal account. This is just my Instagram for my family. And this is the stuff that I shoot on here. And I have a memory disorder. I have
Mhm.
severely diminished autobiographical memory. And that means that
Oh,
I don't necessarily record or recall memories in the same way that most people do. It took me a long time to realize that I had this thing, but one thing that has been really powerful for me is documenting my work, my life in this way.
wow.
And so,
That's
as a
amazing.
parent, now my feed is very much my kiddo. You know, I think this is a really cool photo, but if you pour through these, I actually remember this day in a much clearer, detailed way
Mhm.
by having documented this, and then being able to, the process of being behind the camera, putting them on my computer, editing them, putting them on the internet, writing a little story to go with it. I mean, this is just the day I saw the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile in my house, in my hometown. That's cool. But okay,
Yeah.
immediately now I remember this day.
Mhm.
I did a photo shoot for Orvis, walking through 16-degree water, and they outfitted me in waders. Like,
Wow.
I, until this, I probably would not have remembered. It's a cool memory, but I still may
Mhm.
not have remembered it.
Yeah.
So
Look at those pictures.
your photos don't need to be like astounding. Some of these, this is literally just a picture of a road, but it locks it in my life. It locks it into some different part of my brain and allows me access to my memories in a way that I wouldn't have. And
Mhm.
I think something about traveling that is maybe overlooked is, by seeing so many beautiful things over and over again, we can get like like awe fatigue. Have
Mhm.
you ever felt that? Where you're like, oh, cool,
Yeah.
another beautiful mountain.
It's like, oh, another picture of the overwater huts in Tahiti. No, I
Yeah.
haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, I know what you mean. There are things like that for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so ask me any questions. Or actually, let me ask you this, Kim.
Yeah.
What does your setup look like? I'm not asking about your streaming setup. Like, do
Oh,
you use
you
any sort
literally,
of like,
it's my iPhone
love it?
and this Logi camera,
Oh
this
no,
HD Logi camera.
I want to know a little bit more about what you like. Do you take any photos? Do you
Yes.
use them in your marketing? Do you have a
Yes.
process by which you use them?
Absolutely. I mean, I literally take videos and pictures everywhere I go because of the traveling therapist brand. You know, I'm
Hmm.
trying to share my journey, but also, you know, the mission is to say, like, look at this life you can live if you want to be a traveling therapist. You know, so that is my process. Literally, I mean, I have so many pictures and videos on my phone. It's insane. But I don't want to miss a thing. And, you know, I don't want to miss the opportunity to say, like, oh, I've got the perfect story, but I need the perfect picture or video to go with this. So I,
Right.
like you said earlier, always have my camera with me, you know, everywhere. And
And
I try to make
what
my
do you
boyfriend take pictures too, but he doesn't like to do that.
what are you drawn to when you're traveling, when you're shooting? I mean, when you're taking pictures, are you like, oh no, I need 3 photos for Instagram this week. Like, let me
Oh
quickly
yeah.
see if I can
Oh
see
no.
anything.
Water, like just beautiful scenery. Like I want to show like what I'm seeing. I want to share that. I'm not really all about like the selfies and all that. I'd rather like show, look at this. I'm in Yosemite right now. Right now, I'm in
Mhm.
Yosemite. Like the waterfalls. There's 20 waterfalls in this park right now. So I take pictures, videos, because I want to share that with people. So that's my thing. It's just like the nature I'm in because I take lots of hikes. Like that's sort of my personality is to be outdoors, exploring, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's cool. I don't know if this is a challenge that I want to issue yet, but I want to see, part of me wants to ask you from here on out to make your virtual background a place you've
Better.
been, like in your location.
Okay. That's a great idea. All right, you guys, I'm going to take that challenge.
And if it falls apart, we're all going to collectively decide to pretend it didn't happen so you don't feel bad.
Okay.
Um,
You mean
so
do it right now?
you can, I don't know
Oh,
if it's
okay. I'll
the,
do it. I'll try to do it while you're talking. So though,
tell
yeah,
me a little bit more. Like, are you mostly shoot on your iPhone? And then are you
yeah.
doing anything with those photos?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for that? Like, I'd love to know. Like, what do you do once you've taken the picture? How do you make
Mm-hmm.
it pretty after the
Well,
fact? Can you
I
make it
do want
pretty
to
after
go,
the
like,
fact?
there's going to be a whole section on an editing, and I want to dive more deep into that.
Okay.
There is some really subtle things that you can do when you are just like on your phone. If you don't want to download like Adobe Lightroom on your phone, which is an option and it is really robust.
Mhm.
My biggest tip, the thing that like drives me crazy when I see it, is adjust your dang horizons. Like
Oh,
level
okay.
your horizons, make things look like they're like straight across. And I see people with their travel photos and their like sunsets are looking like this. I see them like this. They're probably just like slightly off, but it's a really easy fix in Light or in on the iPhone. You just hit edit and go to the crop feature, and oh, look at that.
Okay, guys, I went to El Capitan last week, so here's my El
Love it.
Capitan. I didn't even think about that, Michael. Like just putting
Yeah,
the pictures that I take as the screensaver. That actually never occurred to me.
it's great. Honestly, it feels so much more present and
Cool.
unique
What do you guys
than
think in the
seeing
comments? Go ahead.
what are they saying?
They're not saying anything, but what do you guys think? Do you like this background better? Is that
I
more my
do,
brand?
definitely.
Yeah. We've got tons of comments in here. So I don't know if you want me to go through them or do you want to keep talking about the stuff that we're talking about?
Um, I think I mean let's hear some of the comments, and if they spur another part of the conversation, we can kind of drill down from there.
Okay, let's see. Well, somebody asked about, like I said before, the difference in your photos. Talk about using your photos on your website rather than on social media. So she asked about that. And Jenny said, what do you use to take photos? Or is this just your iPhone? So we did talk about that a little bit in the beginning, the camera that he carries around with him, but maybe we could get into that
Yeah,
some.
let's dig a little further into that, because
Okay.
there's a really like there's a common expression in my industry that the best camera in the world is the one you have on you, right? Like, I would so much
Mm.
rather you learn how to use your iPhone, use the phone that you have. Really, I mean, if you've got a Samsung like 2, upgrade. If you've got like an iPhone 1, please upgrade. Like, step one is like, if you don't like
Okay.
the photos that are coming out of your camera or out of your phone, like there are limits to where there was a day when the iPhone and the Android phones of the day went from like to, oh dang, these are great now. And they are.
Mm.
Like, I would much rather you have a camera on you, a phone on you that does a really good job, and you understand how to use it, and you're comfortable with like really quickly like opening the camera and not fumbling because a thing happened and you're like, how do I open the camera? I'd much rather you do that than worry about, did I buy the right SLR? Did I buy the right this? Do I have the right lens? If
Mm.
you're obsessing over the gear, you're not using it correctly. You're not shooting. You're not having fun with it, which is what it should be. So I carry an X100F with me everywhere I go. And because I'm a huge dork, I also carry this. And my new favorite thing is,
oh my gosh,
the
cool.
1950s Polaroid camera.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
Yeah. I'm not suggesting you carry
all those
this many things with you.
Yeah.
This literally lives in my purse right now.
Yeah.
That's not I'm not advocating for that, but
That's so
something
funny.
that you're comfortable with. And so this is not a bad option. You know, if you don't love the idea of it just being here, going out and finding something that can be a purpose-driven device, something that only lives for photos, I find to be a valuable option. And then if you want to upgrade a little bit from there, I can put together a list of equipment that is, not going to break the bank, but will be something that, something around this scale that you can carry with and have, fun with, because it's, like I said, at the end of the day, if you're enjoying your travels and you're documenting and you're enjoying the documenting, that will come through in your brand, even if it doesn't necessarily feel like it in the moment. People will understand, like, why do I just love seeing the photos from this person? We're having a good time.
Yeah, it comes through, I'm sure. It really does. Just
definitely.
like with cooking, it comes through. So we had another question from Robin. She said, I take a lot of travel photos, which I love doing, but not sure how to use them on a therapy site for trauma, grief, and cancer. Right now, my stock photos are related to my specialty. So the stock photos are kind of playing to that, but how would she use her own photography for something so serious? Trauma, grief, cancer. What would be your suggestions around that?
Okay. This is a good example. So can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Bring it in.
You guys let us know if you can't see it, okay? But
so the reason I brought these graphics up is the photo behind here is just designed to elicit a feeling. And then I have like content that I want somebody to consume here, right? With something like this, I tried to find a graphic that I had used like a dozen times. I couldn't find it this morning. I have a photo that I took of just some dark, like rich foliage in southern Florida, that it's like those really thick, heavy paddled leaves. And it was a close-up shot, and you could really see like the veins running through the leaves. Very beautiful shot. I have used that so many times in so many different places, just as stock placeholder, because I wanted the feeling of nature and calm and like beauty tied to something. And I would argue, I am not a therapist, I would argue that we want to see in that trauma and grief space somebody who is aware of joy and aware of happiness and aware of like nature might be a healing element of your practice. And if it's not, maybe that's not the right photo. But I could see something, like this photo here being, the graphic over the top of it or the words over the top of it could be something like, washing away trauma through healing or something like that. What is this photo speaking? What is it telling your audience? What are they feeling from it? And so it could be you are, it could be you are in Yosemite and you're getting like these big, wide shots with like tons of sky and like the mountain range in the background. And you could be speaking on, the future in front of you, the clear skies ahead. There's so much that can be told with photography that if you can get your head out of, it's a picture of a palm tree, it's a picture of a lake, like that's what it is. But what does it say? What is the metaphor tied behind it? And that might just take some practice. I know I'm biased. I have 13 years in shooting, and then I have like 5 years ahead of it before that in art school. Like, I'm an art geek through and through. So I see your travel photos and I'm like, what are you trying to say? Well, you might be trying to say nothing, but my argument is that you can try to say something. And more often than not, human intuition takes over. And if you're trying to say something, if you're trying to elicit a feeling with your photos, it will work.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. It's like, have you gone through a grieving period or trauma yourself, and what helped you heal? And then, like we were saying before, like your connection to it comes through your photos, you know? So if
Mm-hmm.
it was like, you know, mountain climbing was the thing that helped me get through, you know, taking pictures of it and putting it on your website. Definitely, because if it helped you, it would help others. And it's like an authentic part of you.
100%. And that's what it should
Yeah,
be, right? Like, I think
right.
there's something really unique about your community specifically, like not just therapists, but like therapists who like to travel. There's something
Yeah.
really beautiful about the adventure, the like shaking off of wherever you are and moving into a new space. And I think that's very what's what I'm looking for? Um Well, I had a word that just like leaked out of the back of my head. The thing where people aspirational, aspirational.
Yes.
It's a very aspirational thing to be, you know, on the road, traveling, seeing new places. And how many people that are going through, just as example, like grief or trauma, would love to be in a space where they could say, I'm just going to shed all the things in front of me and I'm going to like, or behind me, and I'm going to move on to the next thing. There's something really beautiful there. So that photo that you are, your travel photos that are uniquely your experience, share those things.
Mhm.
That is your unique style. And I just tying those to your brand is just such a good idea.
Yeah, I love that. So I hope that helps Robin. So then Heidi asked us, I recently bought a Fuji X S10. I have
Yeah.
no idea what I'm doing, but I'm actually walking through my woods taking photos as I listen to your voice, and I will watch the video on the replay. Yeah. So I don't know
Heck
if there's a
yeah.
question in there. She's just kind of like saying that that's awesome. I don't know what a Fuji X S10 is, but Michael seems to think it's
Um,
really good. So
yeah. So one of the things so you cannot buy this camera right now. A bunch of TikTokers blew up this camera, and this is like a
oh,
$1,300 camera, which is in my world a fairly like reasonably priced camera. But now, and this is an older one, but I could sell this for like 3,500 right now because they're just
wow.
they do not exist. Fuji can't make them fast enough. But what's really valuable
Huh.
for me is that this camera does not come apart. This is not an interchangeable lens camera. The
Oh.
one Heidi is speaking on is basically this same camera, but the lens is interchangeable, which
Oh,
means that
cool.
what's nice about this camera is it's small and lightweight. It's semi pocketable, depending on how big your pockets are, you know, pocketable compared to, you know, this chunker.
Yes.
Um, but that's a really, really nice camera. And I can't say
Heidi.
I want it, but I do want every camera. And I would love to play with it one day.
Heidi, after you're done and you come back, post your pictures in here so we can see what you took pictures
Please
of while you were
do.
listening to us. That would be amazing.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Because I've
That's a
thought
great
about getting a
idea.
camera, so I'd like to see it. But anyway, okay. So then Andrea's here, Andrea Bragnano. Hi, Andrea.
Hi.
She says authenticity is seen in the camera. So absolutely.
Definitely.
Yes.
And it
And
will
then
get,
Megan. Oh,
sorry, good.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's a practice, right? It
Mhm.
is, it takes time. I'm not saying that, you know, you're gonna go buy the same camera that Heidi has, or you're not gonna buy the same camera that I have and like walk out the door tonight and your photos tomorrow are gonna look like mine. That's not what I'm getting at. It's a practice. And so learning, playing, exploring, and just spending time with it. If anybody is interested, our photoclub.co is where we have a ton of, we do meetups up in northern Michigan, but we're working on online workshops. There's a couple of them coming out that are free right now. And if you want to just learn a little bit more about your camera, that's a good way to do it.
That's awesome. What was it? I'll put it in here.
Our photo club
Our photo
.co.
club.co. If you guys
The
want to check that out.
.com was like $15,000. So
I get it. I had to buy the traveling therapist website. I had to spend some money on that.
yep.
But let's see. And then Megan popped in. She said, hi, my favorite photographer.
Hi.
Yay. Hi, guys. So Megan Smith-Guttel is how I met Michael, actually. He was our
Mm.
photographer down in Costa Rica, the retreat we did down there, and he takes the most gorgeous photos. So that's how we got connected. And
That was a
I'm just
really,
loving,
really cool trip.
that was very cool. Yeah. Hi, Megan. And then let's see, Mag says, going along with your content, how do I begin the process of building a brand with my photos? And then she said, like, what website hosting services are the easiest to start with? So it's kind of a two-part question. How do I begin the
Yeah.
process of building my brand with photos? And then what website hosting services do you recommend?
The most frustrating answer I can give you is just start, right? The wrong answer is make sure you have the right equipment, make sure you have an idea, make sure you have your whatever, make sure you line up this, get your brand core values aligned. Just start. Just start taking pictures and start with whatever grabs your attention. Be focused on your family. That's fine. I would say you probably can't focus, if you're a therapist, you probably can't focus on taking pictures of your clients. There's probably some, legal rules behind that, and then posting them for everybody to see. But I would say, so one of the things that we do in the photo club community is we do challenges online. And so that allows people a place to flex their muscles in ways that they might not usually. So either follow along with us, or if you want to just give yourself some random themes over the course of the next 6 months and say, like, I'm going to focus on just taking pictures of my family, or, I'm going to do the Heidi and I'm just going to say, like, I'm going to go for a walk once a day and I'm going to always bring my camera and just shoot what I shoot, see what I see, get what I get. That's a really good way to start. And it's just about practice. It's about playing. I do a really dorky thing where let me grab a random new camera. Hold on. Let's see. There we go. I have probably 300 or 400 cameras. When I find something at like a thrift shop or an estate sale or something, and I want to start playing with it, I will literally just watch Netflix and start getting distracted. And what does this do? Actually, I actually don't know what this thing does. But what that is it's familiarizing your muscle memory and your hands with equipment, so that when you are going for a walk, you and Heidi are going for a walk together, and you're like, oh, I need a picture of that. You're really quick. The deer walks in front of you. It's like this whole beautiful Zen moment. You can like quickly grab a photo without disturbing the deer. So that's something that I find very valuable. And then in terms of where to host, Instagram and I have a long relationship. We don't always get along. It is probably the only place right now. But if you don't already have a platform for your brand or for sharing, Instagram and Facebook would be a good place to start. If you already have a place that you have followers or that you like to share other content, just start doing it there. So if you are a big Twitter user and then you decide to switch to Instagram, that's going to be an uphill battle. But if you're on Twitter, stay on Twitter. It might not be the premier photo sharing site, but if you already have people that love you, share your stuff that way. And it can just be your friends on Facebook. It can just be your family.
Yeah. And I love what you said about your values, because I think with any brand, that's where we start. It's figuring out like what our values are and then building a brand from there, so like my values are like, I want every therapist to be able to travel and still see their clients and make a good living, but be able to see the world. Like that, to me, that's my values. And I want to like give that to other people. So that's what drives what I do. So for Mags, I think that's Jessie Mags. I think she changed her screen name, but I know that she moved to Portugal recently, which is so cool. And I know she still sees clients. So, I don't know, but, if that's a value to you and you think that your clients would also benefit from like knowing that you kind of picked up everything and moved to another country and you're still seeing your clients, and that would be inspirational, like that, you could incorporate that into your brand, for your therapist.
That tells such a story, right? Like
the
difference between, I don't know the therapy world, so I'm going to say something, and please, I don't know what I'm saying. Let's just say there's like a guy down the street who's checked out and they don't really like their career and they're just not good at it. That person versus somebody who's picked up and is traveling and is doing great things in their life, and also sees patients. And do we use the word patients? What's the word?
We say clients usually,
Cool.
but
Cool.
some people say patients. Yeah.
They're still seeing clients. We always say in our family, like, you can't fill from an empty cup, right? So if you've got this joy in your life, you've got this excitement, share it. Portugal's cool. Take some pictures in Portugal. I mean, like, take a dang selfie in Portugal and post it on the internet. I want to see it.
Yeah, me too. So I hope that helps, Jessie, or if that is Jessie. I'm pretty sure that's Jessie. I think she changed her screen name, but or maybe not. Actually, that's somebody else. Anyway,
Mags.
that was an example for you, Mags, of what Jessie should do. Let's see. So, and Megan says, so smart. I love that idea. I'm not sure what, maybe she was talking about. I think she might've been talking about when I switched to screensaver. For those of you just tuning in, this picture behind me, I just had a regular boring like office picture, and Michael said, why don't you put your travel photos behind you? Wouldn't that make more sense? So I did, and it looks pretty cool. This is El Capitan. We just we're in Yosemite right now, so we drove down into Yosemite Valley and got to see everything, including El Capitan. So,
Kim, where do you share your photos? Do you have a place for them?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube.
Do you have like a central repository? Like I want like a where's Kim been section of like a website somewhere.
Oh, no, I don't, but that's a great idea. I'm gonna have to do that. TheTravelingTherapist.com. I'll have to put them in there. That's a great idea.
That's a really good idea. I had another idea, but we'll share that offline.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael's
going to be my personal consultant here.
There needs to be a section. I'm on your website now of like, where's Kim been? Yeah. We're not going to share the second half of it because it's good and I want to keep it a secret. Continue.
Okay. All right. And maybe I'll share it with you guys in part 2. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm going to be vulnerable and honest. It might just be a terrible idea.
Yeah. Okay. Go for it. Because it might help give somebody an idea. Yeah.
No, I don't want to vet it yet. I mean, I want to vet it and then we'll share it.
Okay.
If it's not terrible, you hear about it next time.
Okay. Yes. And when he says next time, for those of you just tuning in, this is like the free preview week of the Traveling Therapist membership. So this is the type of content I want to have in the membership every single month. And Michael's going to be coming back. We've got like 5 ideas. Basically, he's going to be coming back in periodically through the next year, just sharing webinars like this. So I'm super excited about that.
And to plug it again, if anybody else has specific requests that work within photography and streaming and branding like this, reach out to Kim. Her and I can brainstorm something together. And if it means we got to do a 6th one, that's fine. We can continue to hang out. Yeah. I'm not sad about that.
Yes, me neither. In fact, I'm dropping a form right now. It's a feedback form. I want to get your opinions, you guys, so you can let us know what you want to see down the road in the membership and what you thought of this presentation and what was helpful and what would be more helpful. Let's see. So we have some other comments. Andrea said, I love Lightroom and have it, and I never use it, because I think somebody was asking about like, what do you use to edit the stuff and how do you, what do you do for that? So she said she uses Lightroom. Are you familiar with that?
That is what about 80% of my life I live in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't even know what is it? Is it a
Photoshop? You've heard of Photoshop?
Yeah.
Right. Photoshop is detailed editing on one photo, and Lightroom is, let's do this.
Might have to get this. Is this a free
Lightroom is bulk editing, light editing of bulk photos. So you come home from shooting a wedding, for example, and we'll come home with like 7,000 photos, and it's absurd to go through 7,000 photos. So you have to have a good cohesive way to like power through all of those photos, narrow them down to the best of them, and then do like subtle edits to them, heavy edits to some, but you're not going in and like doing like, you're not changing people's heads. You're not doing a lot of like elaborate compositing. I can actually show a little. Oh, that's not the right one. That's your website.
That's my website.
Swap this over. Oh yeah, here's a plug for the Traveling Therapist.
Yes, everybody. The Traveling
Therapist. Let's swap this over to. Oh, let's go back to here. I got it. That's you. Because Lightroom is really annoying with. bear with me.
Cool.
Let's do here. We'll have to move you over here. And then we can do. Nope. Come on. Come on. I swear I'm good at this. What are we showing? Here.
While Michael's looking for that, it just want to let you guys know right after this, I'm dropping the link to sign up for the traveling therapist membership. So I'm so excited. The doors are going to be officially open at 2 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to have you guys inside, give you content like this. And then the rest of the week, we're also going to have other presentations. We're going to have Gabrielle, Giuliano Villani doing sound healing. We're going to have Addie Wayland, our new traveling therapist coach in the membership. She's going to come on with me. And Vanessa Lawson, she's doing a presentation on Find Your Flow on the road. So I'm just can't wait to give this to you guys all week.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Were you able to
are.
find it? Okay.
Yep. Okay. So
okay.
this is Lightroom. That's my kiddo again. So this is the number of photos taken on like just a random day traveling with my kid, and you're able to narrow them down quickly, filter them down just the ones that you think you might want to play with, and then you can go in here, take an individual photo, and you can adjust, all the details. You can make it look really terrible, or you can make it look halfway decent.
Wow, that is
this
cool.
This is a picture of a random piece of garbage with a face in it. I thought that was funny. There's this really beautiful, this is not important, there's a really beautiful playground here that they just have these like water spigots.
Oh, neat.
They call it a mud kitchen. Yeah, it's really fun.
That's cool.
Yep. So this is
stuff like that, like we were talking about before, like that is such a cool Instagram shot. Just like your brand, you see your kid's hand, you're playing, you're at a cool place, like it just says a lot, even with that picture. Okay.
So real quick, that's Lightroom on a computer. There's also a mobile version you can download for like an iPhone. You can still just snap away with your phone, upload it to Lightroom, and do some basic tweaks in there if you want. But we can dig into that
so cool.
a bit later.
Yeah, I'd love to do a whole thing on editing. So Addie is our new traveling therapist coach, the coach in our membership. Awesome. And she says, I'm loving this. I tend to be drawn towards trees, all kinds of trees. I think the symbolism of trees in therapy is beautiful. Yeah. I totally agree. Like there's so many analogies to trees, and Addie lives in a RV with her family. So she's like all over the place seeing really cool trees. I'm sure.
Well, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you, Addie, to start taking as many pictures of, not as many as you can, but like thoughtfully taking pictures of trees. And once you get bored of it, keep going and just try to take different angles. Don't just shoot from like human height. Go low, go high, put the tree in a different part of the frame, move things around, just experiment. And you got to break things, right? Take 1,000 bad photos so that you can get a good one. That's the real grift of this profession. Is I'll take 7,000 photos at a wedding, and as I've gotten better, more and more of those are not stinkers, but there's still plenty of bad photos in there.
Yeah. What's the saying? Like I can't even think of the saying. Like somebody finds an acorn every once in a while, no matter what. Like if you take that many pictures, there's got to be some really good ones in there. Yeah,
I'm a really big fan of I'm a big fan of the Edison. Like, I never failed. I learned 1,000 ways not to build a light bulb.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Okay. And then we just had people saying, I love the screensaver. They were like, oh my God, love it, Kim. Megan said, love it. Yes. And Alana said, I'm so loving this. So she's just loving this presentation. Cool. Thank you, Alana. Cool. Let's see. Mary says yes. And then somebody says, thanks, Mike. Do you do individual consultations? So this would be a good time because we're almost up. The hour's almost up, if you can believe that. So maybe you could talk about like what you offer and how they can get a hold of you if they want to work with you. I know I am personally going to schedule like a whole day with him to just, as a traveling therapist, like what gear can I take with me that's going to fit in the car, that'll make my pictures look great.
I'm already working on a little kit for you, a little conceptualized kit for what could help specifically in your space upgrade your quality, make sure you don't feel like your camera's fuzzy, which honestly right now it doesn't look terrible. Like it's definitely better than it was when we first talked.
Michael gave me advice about like always having the natural light shining in on me, which I never really did. I don't know why, but I always had the worst lighting, but having the lighting has really helped because right now I've got a window like right in front of me.
Yeah,
So
it looks a lot
that was
better.
really good advice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can find me in a lot of places because I'm a, serial entrepreneur, but our photography is alan-kentphotography.com. We travel, we go all over the place. We're about to go into we're entering our shoulder season. So as we get busy, it's harder to get me on the road. Just ask Megan. And you can also find our photography education stuff at ourphotoclub.co. That is online challenges for, prompts to take better pictures. We're working on, like I said, we're working on coursework for, we just did a camera 101 and camera 102 live workshop. And we're working on the coursework for that. At least the camera 101 is going to be free as a freebie out there in the world. So if you want to sign up for that, go to the website for that one. And then ourhelpdeskstudio.com is our new project that is helping coaches, mentors, therapists create very nice, beautiful presence online. So it's partially helping set up these studio spaces, but it's also as far as digging into the branding of your space, the branding of your online space, and helping use all of the resources and skills that we've built with our photography business over 13 plus years to help people feel confident and like their messaging doesn't get lost in the mix.
Michael, was it alan.kent/photography.com?
Nope. Alan-Kent.photography.com.
Photography.com. Okay, cool. I'm
I believe if you look up Alan Kent, Allen, Kent Photography, it just comes up. There was a guy in Virginia named Alan Kent, and I think he's out of business because I took his website.
Oh my God.
Other way around. He went out of business and I took his website. I didn't run him out of the game.
And you guys, just as we're wrapping up, I'm dropping the link right now for the membership. If you want to come join us and sign up as a founding member, I would be so excited to have you. It's $17.99 a month, so it's super low price point. I wanted to keep it that way for the founding members. We've got tons of content like this. So this is just one example of what you'll get every single month inside of the membership. I hope you love this. The founding members, I want you with me to help me create this thing together. So I want your ideas. I want to bring you in and have you give me tons of feedback about what you want in the membership. So right now I do have plans and things scheduled at least for the next 3 months. That's going to be awesome. But I also want your feedback too, to come in and let me know what you guys want to hear. I did drop the feedback form too for this presentation with Michael, so we can hear more about what you want from him. And, come join the membership. I dropped the link. I'm so excited. I'll drop it a million times in the next week, but I hope you'll come join me. And Michael, thank you so much for coming today and presenting.
Of course. Yeah, no, this is a blast. I mean, I'm not a therapist, so I can't speak to specifically, your membership, but I, as a photographer, joining a community to learn, to spend time, and as I said, serial entrepreneur, but my toxic trait is I think I have to rebuild the wheel every single time. Yes. And when I built a photography education community, I realized that I started learning from my peers and my students. And I realized that there's a lot of things that I was doing that were really just, spinning my wheels. So if you're on the fence about it, investing in whether it's your career or your craft or your lifestyle with something like traveling, man, highly recommend.
Yeah, thank you. And that's the whole group of this, the whole idea of the membership is I want to help you find that balance in life. We're going to have practice building stuff. We're going to have stuff like this, like skills building. And we're also going to have sort of like more woo-woo stuff like meditation and Reiki and sound healing, like we're going to do with Gabrielle later this week. Tarot card readings. Like I want to bring it all into you guys because I know me being on the road, I can't necessarily connect to a local community for that stuff. So I want to build this community for us together, for all of us to grow and kind of make our own little family in the membership with all these cool things that we can do together. So
I love that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thanks everybody for coming. And if you have questions, Michael's in the group, so he can come back and answer questions too if you've got more questions for him. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.